Hi, welcome back to the Old Newspaper Plus Groovy Sound Searchers. I'm your host, Courtney Lorraine, and I like to bring you old news. Today, I'm going to continue on with my Thanksgiving holiday episodes, though. They're short, they're sweet, they're to the point. Today, I'm going to tell you guys about all the different holiday celebrations that go on around the world. Because even though most countries have their own way of celebrating the fall holiday season and equinox and everything, it does vary around the world. And just like each name of the celebrations, so do the traditions. The dates for the holidays, as I mentioned in my last episode, do range from early August to late November. And typically, historically speaking, they've all aligned in some way with the fall equinox, which is based on the moon cycle. A couple of these countries even celebrate based on the moon itself. That's how they pick their date for when to celebrate. A lot of them also just have to do with the end of the fall harvesting season, which, that's why there's so much food involved in most of the cultures. So let's get into it. Excuse me. Thanksgiving Day, also known as l'Action de Grâce in French Canadian, which is mostly associated with North American cultures and is celebrated in the USA, Canada, as well as in St. Lucia and Grenada of the Caribbean. It's also celebrated in Liberia, which is in West Africa. The traditions are very similar in all of these places. It is recognized as a holiday by the governments of these countries, and therefore, most everyone is excused from work and school for at least one day. It's most common to gather in groups, whether it be all family and friends or with your religious groups, like some people choose to go to church for this holiday. But in the USA, we have pretty specific traditions, such as, and I don't think everybody participates in it, but most people in this country at least. I can't really speak for Canada, but we have the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade every year in the morning on Thanksgiving Day, which takes place in New York, and it's huge. And it ends with Santa. Followed by pretty much the rest of the day is filled with American football on television. And this is also the time when all the really cool, not Halloween, excuse me, Christmas movies start to come out on the, regular channels, and they'll start playing cartoons and stuff that have to do with Christmas and Thanksgiving as well, because there are some of those now too. Excuse me. We typically like to celebrate the holiday with turkey, ham, or salmon. These are traditional meats associated with the holiday, along with sweet potatoes and cranberries used as sides. Americans also tend to incorporate either pumpkin or pecan pies as desserts. Yes, I said pecan because I am a Floridian and that's how I pronounce it. But a lot of people say pecan. But tomato, whatever. And from 200 to about 100 years ago, oysters, as I mentioned in the last episode, hopefully you guys got to catch that. If not, go check it out because it's yummy, delicious recipes that are really old. But yeah, oysters were actually among one of the most common of all the ingredients used for this holiday. Similar holidays that are celebrated around this time of year in other countries, such as, or they include, Homoa, which is celebrated in Ghana of West Africa, and apparently in some parts of Oregon, USA as well, which is very fascinating to me. This holiday sounds like a lot of fun. In my personal opinion, I would love to travel to experience this firsthand, the way they celebrate, because I'll get into it in a second. Sorry. So, a little history way back in the day, way back in the time. We're talking maybe the the 1700s, the 1800s, somewhere in there. The Ga people had to travel across the African continent to escape genocide. Finally, they arrived in Western Africa in either the 16th or 17th century. And legends speculate that the Ga people either originated in Nigeria or in Israel. No matter their origin, they were forced to travel hundreds of miles on foot to find a peaceful and safe place to call home. During their travels, one of the most extreme troubles that they faced was starvation. Shocking, right? No, I'm being sarcastic. It's not shocking. When they reached their new homelands, their crops were immediately very abundant. And in order to celebrate this and show thanks, because they totally attributed it to their God and deities that they, believed in for making all of their crops so abundant and all of their cattle do so well. And in order to show thanks, they not only held huge feasts, but then started the tradition of singing and dancing in order to mock the hunger that they had to survive. According to the Library of Congress website, the word homowa actually can translate loosely into hooting and jeering at hunger. The festivities that are now celebrated in Oregon, USA, started in 1989 as kind of a way for the elders of the culture, to share the African traditions with younger generations. And that's also according to the Library of Congress website, which I will link in my probably social media. So you guys go check that out. Next we have Kinro Kancha no Hi, which is celebrated in Japan. And it is observed every year on November 23rd, unless November 23rd falls on a Sunday, in which case they will recognize the holiday on the following Monday. This holiday is when Japan honors the hard work of laborers, actually. It's not so much a food holiday like it is in Thanksgiving Day, but this is more equivalent to the American tradition of Labor Day. Kinro Kancha no Hi has actually been a part of the Japanese culture for over 2,000 years and did in fact originate as an autumn harvest festival called Nii Maa Sai, which is what was celebrated in 1948. Celebrated until 1948. When the significant changes were made to the Japanese constitution in favor of workers' rights, which is why they changed it to honor laborers and workers. The festivities from there became very similar to American traditions, of which they have enormous parades, they have huge gatherings of families and friends, as well as the preparation and sharing of massive quantities of food with the less fortunate. I love this. This tradition is so sweet. I love that. So the traditional meals include various types of fish, rice, and teas, which sounds great to me. Something very cool that is also incorporated into this holiday is the grade school age children will make gifts and cards to send to laborers of the country, including like first responders, teachers, hospital workers, government officials, and so on, which it's so cute. I mean, we have our grade school kids do that for Labor Day as well, but it's so sweet still. No matter where you are in the world, be thankful for those who just choose to do jobs like that, So next, we're kind of, like I said, we're traveling the world, and I'm kind of getting through these a little fast so that you guys don't have to waste a whole lot of time listening. Next is, I hope I get this right. Erntedankfest, which is loosely translates to the Harvest Thanksgiving Festival. This is celebrated in Germany. It's one of the one of the annual fall harvest holidays and occasionally occurs in September instead of October or November, depending on where in Germany the party people are. Mostly, this holiday consists of traditions like attending church services in the morning, including a sermon as well as congregations singing collectively. Also, commonly included will be the crowning of the Erntekron and the Erntekonigen. Erntekonigen. I really hope I pronounced those correctly. I do not speak German. This is also known as the King and Queen of the Harvest, which sounds really exciting. This service is followed by a parade consisting of and ending with music and a carnival-like celebration. And don't forget the unending supply of food. Some areas even include a torch parade ending in fireworks at the end of the days. The traditional foods here include a turkey or an extra fattened chicken and occasionally a goose. So next we have the Harvest Festival, which occurs in the UK. It is amongst the oldest annual traditions in the United Kingdom, dating back to the 1840s, and it is still recognized widely throughout the country. This holiday is directly related to the time, in the season of which most harvesting is done for both household meals and to ensure having feed for the cattle during the winter months and animals. The placement of the tradition on the calendar depends on the moon cycle. This is one of the times that the date changes with the moon. And the fall equinox, which usually occurs in late September or early October, although again, there is no set day. Celebrations usually occur in churches. They use basketful of foods gathered from the harvest for decorating the church. They put little foods in the baskets and decorate all over the place. And after the church services and all the gatherings are over, everyone will take the baskets of the food, and they will also go distribute them amongst the needy and less fortunate of the community. Again, so sweet. I love this tradition. It should be more common that people do this. I do know that in America, there are people that at the end of Thanksgiving, they will donate food. And a lot of people, we have charity drives through, schools and work and stuff where we do gather up, non-perishable items to donate to needy families as well. But this tradition that they do in the UK seems a lot more hands-on, face-to-face, and that comes with, I feel like, a little bit more love. So anywho, that's it for those. A little fun fact though about Thanksgiving, coming back to the USA. We are all taught in elementary school that the first Thanksgiving Day feast happened in 1621 and was shared by the Wampanoag tribe of Native Americans with the European pilgrims that decided to settle in Plymouth, Massachusetts. However, as I read in the book titled Hidden History of Florida by James C. Clark, according to his book, the first autumn feast or Thanksgiving meal shared by Native Americans with the intruders of their land actually happened around 1529, around the Tampa Bay area of Florida, USA. And it included Spanish settlers instead of Europeans, and Spanish soldiers as well. The second feast was recorded happening about 30 years later in Pensacola, Florida. And then again, it happened in 1565 in St. Augustine, Florida. Each harvest feast was shared with the Spanish soldiers and settlers by the native people. One tribe that I know for sure, I'm not positive of all of them, but I know for sure that the Timucuan Indian native, excuse me, it all jumbled up there, including the Timucuan tribe of Florida. The main courses are believed to have been salted pork and garbanzo beans. And as a Floridian myself, I can imagine that oysters were probably also involved in those meals as well. Um, Either way, so amazing. It's a culture that has not received as much praise as it deserves. And as I promised in the last episode, I do have one more short Thanksgiving Day recipe to share with you guys. By the way, never mind on that. By the way, here is a recipe from November 26th, 1884, and it was originally published in the Democrat and the Chronicle of Rochester, New York, USA. This little snippet includes a recipe called cranberry jelly, and it says, "Made this way is very good." So you put 1 quart of cranberries in an earthenware pipkin or a granite-lined saucepan. Cover it with water and place over a quick fire. When cooked, press through a fine colander so that the skins, about a spoonful, remain in the colander. Pour the juice into the saucepan or the pipkin and add the capfuls of granulated sugar. Boil about 10 minutes and then pour into a mold. It must be borne in mind that the more quickly cranberries are cooked, the more brilliant the color will be. 25 minutes is long enough, though. And that's it for that recipe. And that, Groovy Sound Searchers, brings me to the end of this holiday episode. I also would like to do something for the YouTube channel. I was thinking about it, but time may not be in my favor for that. Either way, I hope everyone has enjoyed my Thanksgiving episodes. Sorry it took so long to get them out. Like I said, I have children and my time is not always available like I need it to be, like I want it to be. Either way, I do hope that everybody goes and subscribes to my YouTube channel. Search at The Old Newspaper Plus. I would really appreciate that. I would also like if you follow me on social media. If not, just enjoy listening. That's okay with me. Please, wherever you find your podcast and wherever you have found my awesome voice reaching out to your awesome eardrums, please feel free to subscribe, like, follow, share, all the great things that we do with our lives nowadays. Everybody, again, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. And I, again, hope everyone has a great and happy Thanksgiving, and everybody be safe. And if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving in some way, just have a great rest of your week, because you are awesome, no matter what. I'm Courtney Lorraine, and I like to bring you old news. Peace out, everybody. Bye.